Calling all butt horns. It's a brand new edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I'm your host, Chris the Brain. Joining me once again for the fourth time in a row now, Chad Cruz.
Welcome back, Chad. Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
Also joining me once again is Ryan Campbell.
Am I like Chief Butthorn? That sounds like
you are. And we can't leave out the toy man, Christy Petrillo.
I'm surprised you didn't say here comes the bald butthorn.
No, I don't want any lawsuits coming my way. But yeah, we are going to be talking about a movie that's really fitting to talk about on the Bulletproof Podcast, the official podcast of Bulletproof Action, because we're going to be talking about a movie called Bulletproof from 1987.
How did it take us this long to do our namesake?
You know what? We leave things on purpose sometimes, and then you just forget about them. But we're going to be all about Bulletproof. But before that, I want to talk about our YouTube channel, Ryan Campbell. I know you've got something you're cooking up for Actionversary. But also, you had mentioned that BJ Morgan left us some nice comments. Our Kickboxer 4 episode really spoke to BJ.
Yeah, I mean, really all the kickboxers have done really well, just like one after the other. They keep outperforming. And I just put up the original Kickboxer archive today. So it's up there now if you want to go check that out.
All 5 Kickboxer episodes now on our YouTube channel. And
but yeah, definitely thanks to BJ for multiple comments and like at timestamps, and it was really cool to interact with the crowd that way, and some good observations, and agreed with us on our Tom Poe takes, some good stuff. So yeah, definitely head on over there. We're also going to be putting up, it should be up if you're by the time you're hearing this, for the 35th anniversary of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's being re-released in theaters. I will be seeing it as we're recording this tomorrow night. But we're also putting up our archive from when we did the movie a little bit. I guess that was last year. I don't know when that was. So that'll be up. And yeah, I have a special that is almost completed. I got about 2 more segments of it to produce and then put it all together. And there'll be a little special YouTube only feature coming up later this month.
Very exciting. And, when we did Kickboxer 4, we had mentioned the Tong Po record producer bit, and I had said on the social media posts I would be asking people to just give me their ideas of maybe the music that Tong Po would have been responsible for. And as often happens whenever I do anything on the social media, very few people responded, or they just responded with their usual, like, I think some people have like a magic 8-ball, Chad, where they just shake it and whatever, like, it was a great summer for movies. They just put that in. I don't know. Or they wait until someone dies. We got some people who just are really into death, and they will let you know. They will find a post from 32 years ago and comment that the person who did the wardrobe has passed away. But BJ, once again, went above and beyond, and he gave us a whole album of Tong Po in his vision.
Okay.
The artist's name, Big T Po. So I believe this is a hip hop. The label, Death by Kumite Records. The track listing, number 1, Welcome to Da Kumite. That's probably a hot one. How about I'm Back, One More Sequel?
That's fitting.
Here's a good one. Sloan Can't Touch This. Trespassers Get Severely Punished.
I think this guy might get a job offer.
He's good. This is probably the best comment of the year so far. Darcy Was Creepin', featuring Bill and Lando.
I like it.
We got Fresh Prince of Mexico Freestyle. Rise and Grind, 7 a.m., which is Ryan Campbell's least favorite song.
Absolutely.
We Fighting to the Death, and I Still Hate Sloan. So Thank you. That's the full track listing of his
banger
of his what he envisioned. That's what I threw that out there. Like, Anyone you could have put any song and like 2 or 3 people answered. So whatever. Thank you, BJ. Again, comment of the year thus far. I kind of feel like I've been watching a lot of AWA. I feel like Larry Nelson with the AWA fan of the week. But unfortunately for you, BJ, I don't have any Ninja Star Wars games to send you. So you'll just have to take my compliments for your comment as your prize. Let's talk about it before we get into it. It's Actionversary. It's bulletproofaction.com. This is up. My review of Nobody 2 is up there. Check that out. Toyman's essential episodes for the Incredible Hulk will be up there. I will do a little Tony Jaa on Bach. I've never seen that movie before, Chad Cruz. Do you believe it?
Oh, wow. That is unbelievable.
Oh, EMF.
Ooh.
That's a good one. See, Tong Po could have had something, but yeah, I finally watched Ong Bak, and whoa, what a freaking fantastic movie that was. So I'll have my review of that.
I would do the Ong Bak Marantau back to back. That's a good one.
I do have Marantau in my.
Marantau's a good one.
Yeah,
I have not opened it. It's in the sealed section of my library, but I might check that out.
Did I send you that one? Because I know I found that one at Dollar Tree.
I don't know if that was in yours or if that was one of my rare Dollar Tree finds when I'd actually find something good. But
that's Eco's, Eco's Umbach.
Okay,
it's his version.
Well,
good.
I will have to check that one out. But yeah, bulletproofaction.com for all the Actionversary celebrating that you can handle.
We also got the Alien Earth.
That's right.
That started this past week. First 2 episodes are up. I don't know if you guys checked it out, but it was really good. I really liked it. I made you go read the article, but I made a lot of comparisons to the Monarch Godzilla series. It seemed like really similar in that it kind of uses these established characters to tell like a broader world building story, which I think is where TV series based on a movie property work best. So I like it. A lot going forward, and the nice thing is it's kind of like 1 episode a week, so we can just keep on jiving. I don't have to stay up till 4 a.m. watching like 5 episodes of this stuff to get reviews out. So it should be fun.
Yep. As this drops, episode 3 will be out later today or early tomorrow, depending. All right. So that's all happening. And then, of course, next week will be the big Actionversary week. But we'll get into that because next week, the Bulletproof podcast will actually be dropping on Monday because we're going to kick off that whole big Actionversary week. It's going to be huge. All right, let's get into why we're really here. And that's to talk about Bulletproof. As I mentioned, this one was originally released in the UK in August of 1987. Didn't come to our fair shores until May 13th, 1988. This one, Chad Cruz, directed by Steve Carver, who I know directed one of your all-time favorite Chuck Norris movies.
Yes, indeed. He had directed Lone Wolf McQuade, which I've covered on the site. We've talked about it many times. It's probably my favorite Chuck Norris film.
There you go.
He's just so badass in it. And Steve Carver really has an eye for kind of projecting like a badass lead star. So
yeah, also,
this is right up his alley.
Also did An Eye for an Eye with Chuck, did River of Death with Michael Dudikoff. I did like the opening credits. They kind of had like a Miami Vice color scheme going, which was good for the time. And we got right into it, Ryan Campbell. I know you were excited about how it started because Frank Bulletproof McBain and his partner Billy are on a stakeout, but Billy's not very excited to be there.
Yeah, nothing, kickstarts an action movie called Bulletproof with unhinged Gary Busey than a solid 3 minutes of a person snoring, like just off and running in this movie, man.
And yeah, Billy is asleep, but McBain manages to wake him up, maybe in not the most pleasant fashion. And Billy's like, nobody's coming. Your informant didn't know what the hell they were talking about, but Chris, he's very confident that Murray did not lead them astray.
No, and that confidence is valid because just mere moments later, the ice cream truck comes pulling up, and apparently that's what they're expecting. A nice Mr. Frosty on this dark and stormy night.
Hey,
I have a question for you, Brain, before we move on, because out of the 4 of us, you are probably the only one who will get this, and you'll know why I'm bringing it up. Where do you know Billy Dunbar from?
Oh well, he's done a lot. I remember him from Bucktown, USA.
Wasn't he on Star
He
Trek?
was a Star Trek guy, and
He was Raj and Dee's father on What's Happening.
that is right. I just
Mm.
saw a clip of him coming back, and I'm pretty sure he did a bit on Sanford and Son. Was he Rooster on that? Was no, that was
He was on Sanford and Son. He was on an episode of The Incredible Hulk.
there you go. So yeah,
But wasn't an
So lots of
essential
stuff. But
episode.
I know that you share in my love for 70s sitcoms, so I thought that you might capture the What's Happening
that is
reference.
right. I just saw it because D from What's Happening just passed, and I saw some clips, some
Unfortunately, yeah,
highlights. Yeah,
very sad.
old Thomas Rasulala. But yeah,
Okay, I have to mention this. Okay,
please do.
so the more we just talked about him, I was like, was he the dude that was in Mom and Dad Save the World? And I just looked it up, and he was in
Yes,
fact. Do you guys remember that movie?
I never saw it.
yes, yes, I do.
Oh my god, it was one of my favorites as a kid. Just like that, very um, what is it? Police Story esque humor to it. This baseball style humor, very fun. Check it out.
It's funny that you say that because we actually let Zach, well, not let him, but he joined us in watching the original Naked Gun tonight, and he got a big kick out of it.
Nice. It's a great, a kind of a great road to go down with kids. They have this whole new style of humor. It's beautiful.
Uh, it is. And Billy, so the ice cream truck shows up. Billy's like, wait a minute, should we call for backup? Oh no, not yet. And Billy's like, hey man, you may be bulletproof, but I'm human.
He really just wanted to get his SpongeBob popsicle. That's
Right.
gotta hold up.
No, this was 1988. It probably would have been like one of the Snorks or something like that.
It may have been a superstars of ice cream bars.
Could have been.
Ah, sure.
I could go for one of those right about now. But anyway, McBain climbs up. He's looking through the roof or like the skylight, and he sees what's going on. And there's automatic weapons. There's Danny Trejo.
Young
A
Danny
very
Trejo.
slick, suave Danny Trejo.
That's right.
And so McBain's like, hey, they got guns in here. And, oh, should we get the backup now? Oh, where's the challenge in that? And this is where we get to see Frank Bulletproof McBain in action for the first time. They're like, who the hell are you? Your worst nightmare, butthorn.
What is a butt horn?
Those guys.
And why is that an insult in an R-rated cop movie?
Was it something people said then? I don't know. Did I
Everybody
miss
was
out on
saying
that?
it that year. It was.
Was this like Cap or like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
I had to double check and make sure that I didn't have on the edited for television version of Bulletproof as I watched it for the sake of this podcast.
Yeah, it was grody to the max, and then it went right into butthorn. McBain is called a bastard. That's our first of, I believe I counted 6 all together. So
That's pretty good for
very good. Not going to make the list, but very. Anytime you can hit 5 or more, that's you deserve at least a golf clap. So McBain just starts eliminating bad guys. Trejo grabs a rocket launcher though, and that'll give you a negative. He's bulletproof, but he's not rocket proof, Chad.
No, he's not. Not many people are.
No. Danny Trejo then escapes in an ice cream truck, which of course leads to a car chase. And Trejo like opens up the little back door and starts shooting him with a machine gun. That doesn't work. So he's like, oh, we got some grenades in here. Let me toss one of those. So he tosses it, but they just toss it back. And
that was one of my favorite little. This movie has a lot of great like little one-liners and comebacks, and just lines, just well-written lines that are just stand out as not being cookie cutter. And I like this one where he's like, "We need the grenades. Where are the grenades?" And he says, "In the popsicles." And he opens up like the popsicle tray, and it's just filled with grenades. And I was like, "That's a line you don't hear in many movies." Where are the grenades? In the popsicles?
Right. Good point.
Also, good aim. He tosses that grenade like right through the hole that he shot in the windshield. That's a heck of a shot in two moving cars.
I think Danny Trejo was a minor league baseball player back in the 70s.
Or professional cornhole, something like that.
So the chase is
Danny Trejo as Cornholio.
There you go.
the chase is soon over once the ice cream truck is blown up. Billy, we find out was pissed because he missed the Patti LaBelle concert, which I don't blame
Uh,
him. Um, and McBain, so he's kind of annoyed. And then the chief or the captain comes, and he's annoyed because he was in a poker game with the chief of police, and he had to go away from that.
Oh, everyone's annoyed.
But you know what? At the same time, though, unlike the trope, he kind of goes to like, "I do like your style, though, McBain," which you don't normally hear from the disgruntled police captain. He's just screaming his head off.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the rare movies where he doesn't get a ton of pushback. If nothing else, they're like trying to get him back in the game.
Right.
Yeah, like go nuts, McBain.
Right. Yeah. Do your thing. Let him cook.
Now, this film, you can't call it a knockoff or a ripoff or a derivative because it came out the same exact year, but this first little 10-minute sequence here, to me at least, very Lethal Weaponish, very Murtaugh and Riggs. You know, you've got the outlandish cop and the guy that just wanted to go to the Patti LaBelle concert, kind of like the whole Danny Glover, I'm too old for this shit type of thing. Very similar vibes here in the opening segment of Bulletproof.
Well, maybe Gary Busey spilled the beans about that script.
yeah, I
True.
I felt like it was like watching Last Action Hero with Arnold,
Mm,
but only in that movie it's kind of like a caricature of what an action star is in movies, and this is just a guy in a movie just kicking ass.
It does kind of like struggle maybe a little bit tonally about what it's trying to do. Like there's parts where it seems like it wants to be kind of campy, and then
Yeah.
there's parts where it doesn't want to go full campy. It's kind of like right in the middle. But to your point, Toy Man, I do wonder. I mean, it happens a lot in Hollywood where scripts get passed around, and you end up with dueling movies, an Ants / Bugs Life or Deep Impact,
Yep.
Armageddon. Like you get this stuff that happens every once in a while in Hollywood.
And we should note to people too, because some people might hear Gary Busey and they'd be like, "Oh, crazy Gary Busey, post-accident Gary Busey." He didn't get into that accident until the end of 1988. So this movie had already premiered in the UK and the US prior to the accident. So any of this outlandish behavior, this is all just
right.
crazy actor Gary Busey, nothing more, nothing less.
Pure Gary Busey.
We then cut to the trio of Miles Blackburn, played by R.G. Armstrong, from two of Chad Cruz's favorite movies. Right, Chad?
Predator for sure.
Right. And he was in a movie
What was
you
the other
mentioned earlier.
I mentioned a movie earlier.
Yeah, it's called Lone Wolf McQuade.
Oh, was he in that?
He was.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's
We
awesome.
got
Couple Lone Wolf
15
McQuade
minutes
guys
ago.
here.
Yep, because also L.Q. Jones, plays
Yeah,
Sergeant
my guy.
O'Rourke, and then General Gallo, played by Luke Askew, who is rightfully named because he's always seemingly askew, and he is a bastard that I will remember forever from No Retreat, No Surrender 3 Blood Brothers. And he mentions,
You remember where LQ Jones was from?
other than Lone Wolf McQuade,
John Eagle.
no.
That's his name. Wasn't that his name in
Oh,
Lone
I
Wolf
thought you
McQuade?
were. I thought you were saying he was the guy from Invasion
No, he was
USA.
he was Dakota, not to be confused with Dakota from China O'Brien.
Oh, I would not
Uh,
confuse
But
those two.
no, my reference was going to be to a great film with a little less action in it. He was the cowboy commissioner that went up to De Niro's office in Casino
Oh
and
yeah,
had the argument with
I
him.
remember.
oh yeah, that's right.
He was also in Time Rider: The Adventure of Lyle Swan with Fred Ward.
Hmm.
I believe he was like
How
I
about that?
believe he
Fred
was a
Ward.
marshal in that. But yeah, Gallo does say "little bastards."
You guys watch too many movies.
Listen, that's fine. Part of this with this cast, Chris. You know what this movie reminded me of in some ways was like
This podcast?
the action version of those NBC shows where they would take all the people from like all their
Hmm.
sitcoms and like put them in
It
one big movie.
Or like the
it's
crossover event of the evening where all the shows kind of bleed into one story and cross over.
Yeah, it's like, in the 80s they'd have like the teen movie and they'd have, someone from Family Ties, someone from the Hogan
Right.
family, but it's hilarious that you say that. I don't want to bury the lead here because we're just starting to get into the movie, but I feel like after this initial sequence, when we start getting into the international aspect and the espionage and everything, that part feels very much more like the type of like TV movie that it might get that one big premiere and then 3 years later it's on like a Saturday afternoon. For an R-rated action movie and you go into it expecting, like I said, like something very Lethal Weaponish, it really does take a turn.
Mm-hmm. It does. And it's going to take a turn to Mexico soon, but because we find out that just 300 miles south of the border, uh, there's a terrorist group forming in Mexico.
Oof.
And we're going to need a surgical strike. And this will be a great test for the new Thunderblast tank. What do you think of the name Thunderblast tank, Chad Cruz?
That was my nickname in high school, actually.
Oh, I thought it was Finger Blast, but all right.
Finger Blast. Yeah. You're right. Finger Blast.
Thank you.
Yeah, my PE teacher gave me that
I
nickname.
think it's a beautiful tank. It's a wonderful tank. We're gonna send it down there to Mexico with this guy named Bulletproof. Gonna clean up the cartels that are down there. It's beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful.
Thank you. McBain
Ruin it.
returns home after his drug or arms deal busting, and he gets in there. Somebody's in there. There's candles lit. There's music playing, and a lady friend of his has invited herself in. Chad Cruz,
Mhm.
and he finds her in the bubble bath. It's Tracy, played by Liddy Denier, who was a part of Acapulco Heat, along with with a friend of the show, Michael Worth,
Friend, big, good friend.
our good friend, Michael Worth.
That one may actually make some sense.
I beat Toyman to it this week. But yeah, she's in there, and yeah, this is definitely not a made-for-TV movie at this point.
Oh, certainly not at this point.
You got a couple nipples hanging out there. I noticed.
Yeah, I'm sure
I think
did.
I think with McBain returning from that most recent, he's had a lot of near-death experiences, but this is the most recent one. He's walking through his door with a bullet in his chest still, and a little bit of blood trickling out, and he sees that lovely lady lying there in the bathtub, just ready to go.
Yeah.
And he kind
of something else is trickling out.
There's a pre-com. Is that what you meant?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Oh, all right. This podcast is definitely not edited for television.
Did
We're losing sponsors left and right with Chad's return.
But not our next sponsor, Hims. You need ED medication, contact Hims.
Braden, go ahead and timestamp that so you can
promo code Bulletproof.
Hashtag pre-cum.
Oh,
there you go.
Promo code pre-cum.
Some we'll see if that hashtag is used by any of our listeners on social media. But yeah, she's in the bubble bath. You do see some nipples. McBain's like, hold on now, I gotta get this bullet out. I mean, we find out he's got a whole like jar of these bullets that he's taken out.
He's bulletproof.
There's true.
It ain't just a name.
I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I thought,
Yeah.
given his kind of stupid valor that he had at the beginning of the film, I was like, maybe he's actually bulletproof. Maybe there's something to this. He's not afraid of getting shot at whatsoever. Right. He's just kind of running around, one-man arming it.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot and he kind of no-sells it. And I was like, oh, maybe the dude is bulletproof. Maybe he somehow absorbs them. And
he's got some sort of like magic juju or something.
Yeah, man. Gary Busey juju.
That's right.
Maybe, and then when he's taking the bullet out, I'm like, oh, so he is a wounded person.
Right.
I think it's kind of just one of those elements where someone is just so kind of batshit go hard crazy that like it actually makes them safer because they're just like fully committed so much more than anyone else around them that I don't know. So full head into danger, it manages to keep them safe. Who knows?
Could be. It's like the person who's like relaxed. When you're relaxed, if you're in a car crash and you don't realize it, you're relaxed, you don't get hurt as bad as the person who's like all tensed up.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yes. He's so just at 11 all the time that he manages the adrenaline kind of keeps him going.
So let's cut to the border where Sergeant O'Rourke and we now meet Captain Devin Shepard, played by Darlene Flugel. They're leading the convoy for this routine training exercise, although Shepard is questioning this whole thing. As was I, because it's almost like they wanted the bad guys to steal this tank.
Yeah.
Perhaps like or to flush them out. Maybe I don't know what they
Well,
were trying. That's my assumption.
they
It's
mentioned that.
kind of like not quite a false flag attack, but definitely like a provoked, like, oh, we need an excuse to go in, so let's just dangle.
Right? Yeah, and I know they mention it, but it's how it all starts playing. Like, but I guess yeah, they're expendable, and they mention that as well. But it seems odd, but it's okay. Um, the convoy is stopped by the People's Liberation Army. In this case, led by Pintero, played by Juan Fernandez, who you will see in a later this month on the final scene of the week for its limited run. Check that out on bulletproofaction.com. But Juan Fernandez is there from Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects, also was in Aces, Iron Eagle 3, among
A Man Apart.
yes, there you go. Many
Didn't he
things.
play for the Mets?
No, that's a different one. He played with Danny Trejo in the 70s, maybe. But we cut back to McBain, who is now in bed. We obviously made the most of Tracy's visit. But he's flashing back to a time when he was some sort of government operative, and Devin Shepard is there, as well as McBain had a partner back then named Benson, not played by Robert Guillaume, unfortunately. And they're confronted by William Smith and an uncredited Cary Hiroki Tagawa, although there's no denying when you see Cary Hiroki Tagawa, Chad Cruz.
That's right. It's hard to miss it.
Benson ends up dead in this situation, and that flashback is then interrupted by a knock at the door. It is Blackburn who identifies himself, which just makes it all the more fun for McBain to shoot at the door. Obviously not a fan of Miles Blackburn, and he's informed he's being taken off the inactive list. If he completes this mission, he gets a clean slate. So obviously he got into some trouble for that whole Benson dying, Chad Cruz, or at least I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of assume that, and the fallback plan being a cop, I guess.
Yeah, like why was he allowed to be?
Yeah, you get in trouble as a Fed or whatever, and then you're like, fuck it, I'll just be a cop.
Right. That's again, that was a little bit foggy, but it's okay. We're moving on.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right. Some American soldiers and the new Thunderblast have been captured, and among those is Devin Shepard, and now, because at first he wanted nothing to do with it, but he hears that Devin is there. Boom. So we get another bastard in there. McBain is given the big ass Thunderblast manual, and he has got like 24 hours to read through it.
Men never read the manual.
No.
Am I right, fellas?
You're right.
Yes,
Do you have a brick wall behind you?
Not the Thunderblast manual.
Right, Chad.
I do. It's got neon lights on it and everything.
Excellent. Yeah. Can't wait to see where your show goes from here. Back to Mexico. The baddies, who includes now we meet General Brigado and Colonel Cartief, played by the one and only Henry Silva, who's been in many, many things, including
Chuck Norris films, as we previously mentioned.
Code of Silence is always what I think about when I think of old Henry, but he's been in a lot. And they're admiring this new Thunderblast tank, which it does look cool. It definitely has that G.I. Joe toy vibe, Chad Cruz.
Yeah, it does. It looks like the one that, if you just saw it on a shelf sitting next to a normal tank, you're definitely going to buy the Thunderblast tank.
Oh, yeah.
It's got the cool gadgets.
Right. It's like a normal tank, but they just put a bunch of extra shit on it.
Yeah. Like, look at this plastic fucking wall that covers this thing.
Yeah.
And then they get inside it later, and it's like, it's nice. Yeah, it's like a BMW.
Nice. Yeah.
It's got a bunch of bee-boops, a bunch of like 80s bee-boops.
Oh, yeah. Buttons everywhere.
Yeah.
But when Pintero attempts to get in there, there's security measures in place, and it shocks his ass, which causes Shepard to chuckle. And then one of the American soldiers is killed, and she's like, well, now I'm the only one left with the classified Thunderblast training, you dumb fucks.
You butt horns.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we'll cut back to McBain, who is relaxing at home, and he has a
Oh,
flashback.
favorite scene in the
I'm
movie.
sure it was. Because first he flashbacks to Sax on the beach. just
Oh, how I wish he was playing Careless Whisper.
belting out a tune on the beach with his saxophone. And then
As one
and
does.
then some sex, Chad Cruz, by the
Oof.
fire with Devin Shepard.
Yeah, he gave her the old 1-2 special. Now, the saxophone,
Yeah.
it is a very seductive instrument, I would say.
Oh,
And
you don't have to. I mean, just watch a PM
That's why
Entertainment
they have the
movie.
sexy sax man.
Mm-hmm.
man alive, if I could play a saxophone,
Yeah.
uh, I I don't know what I'd be beating women off with a stick.
Right.
Or a saxophone.
Or finger blasting them. I don't know. All right. God, this show's really awful. All right. So yeah, Tracy drops off McBain off at this gas station in the middle of nowhere. And seconds later, a helicopter shows up, picks him up. It's Blackburn in there. Blackburn likes to just send people out in helicopters. He did that in Predator. Goddamn R.G. Armstrong, 9,000 years old, sending people out to
So
their
old.
death. Anyway, we go back to Mexico. Shepard, O'Rourke, and what's left of their convoy are taken to a church that is being used to hold all the prisoners. There's a priest. There's a couple of nuns. The nuns are like, "Yeah, we've been here for 6 weeks. Congratulations." McBain is then just, "All right, there's nothing but desert down there. Have a good time." He's dropped off. Which means we got to go back to the church where Colonel Cartief says, "We're going to move this Thunderblast. And guess what, Shepard? You're coming with us since you know how to operate the damn thing." And one of the soldiers is like, "No, don't take her." And he gets killed. So we're dropping.
Yeah, soldiers dropping left and right, and a lot of it's at Shepard's feet.
Mhm.
She's not doing much to save her fellow man.
No. And then we go back to the desert, and two of Cartief's troops see McBain just wandering around, and McBain takes care of them and takes their Jeep, Chad Cruz. That's insult to
Ah.
injury.
It's like a Grand Theft Auto Gary Busey edition.
Oh, I wonder if he'll be a part of the new one. Cartief versus Shepard now, and this is. We find out they're selling the Thunderblast to the Russians. Shepard, to your point, Ryan Campbell, doesn't really help anyone, and she's not even helping herself because she's picking a fight with Cartief.
Yeah, they kind of bounce back and forth between her, like seeming like she's got a bunch of brains for the situation, but then also just kind of like no nonsense, just keep making the situation worse for her. But yeah, so it kind of depends on the situation whether she's going to have a smart mouth or smart head.
And then Cartief grabs a Rambo knife and orders her to strip. But again, she's going to put up a fight, and then it just gets bad because we cut to the people, the other prisoners, and you have to assume there's some sexual assault going on, Chad Cruz.
Yeah, why did you come to me on that one, though?
I just thought maybe you had something to say.
Guilty conscience, Chad?
No, you're right. It's an awful scene, right? Yeah. There's an attractive female who's taken prisoner by a bunch of terrorists,
right?
And they're going to torture. They're going to abuse. They're going to use every awful thing they can to break her. And this is one more way that they do that. So.
And it does set up something for later in the movie, and we'll get there. McBain has found his contact, who also has this boy that knows the way. Devin is now back. We go back. She has to do the walk of shame to rejoin the prisoners. We get that bastard from O'Rourke, and he does his best to comfort her. McBain is now finding more enemy troops, and it comes back, everybody. I was so excited. They're like shooting at birds because they can, and we get bird season's over, butthorn.
Count the butt horns. A one-time feature on Bulletproof Action.
That's two.
I don't know if we can get that over as much as the bastard.
I don't think we can.
What's the Spanish translation to butthorn?
Horn de butt.
Oh, I don't think it works that way.
That's how I would do
I'm
it.
pretty sure they'd get it. Yeah.
O'Rourke starts thinking of like we can't just be sitting around here waiting for Brigado to decide when he's going to kill us. So he's trying to think of a plan, which is about time somebody does something. And that's about the time Cartier gets word that
Hey, he's still got 9 years on Chuck Norris.
okay, better watch yourself. Cartier gets word that a Yankee, not they should have said Yankee bastard, a Yankee named Bulletproof has arrived. And was that the boy that was like supposed to be telling him the way, who's really the son? I don't know.
Yeah, he ran off
Yeah.
and like left him into a trap, essentially.
Right.
Like, led him into a sabotage. Then he fucking took off like a little bastard.
Dang. Right.
Ran back to his bastard father.
Dang. You're right.
Those bastards.
Dang. You're right, Chad Cruz. All right. That's 3 for Chad. Keeping track. When Shepard hears this, she realizes that she was the bait to get McBain involved. See, this is where it gets really confusing. Like, why? I mean, I know that we really shouldn't trust the government and all the things, and
yeah,
obviously they're just manipulating all this shit. And you would think there'd have been an easier way than to risk the life of some. Maybe I'm just too nice. I'm probably too nice for this world.
But like, what is the end? So they want to. Yeah, I'm having a hard time figuring out. Like, do they want to draw out the Russians? And they thought the tank would do it, and that Bulletproof would be their best chance to make it work. But they knew he wouldn't do it, so then they send Shepard in.
Yeah, you got to reverse engineer this thing.
You're actually making way more sense than the movie ever does, Ryan. Like
I'm trying.
You're helping me a lot because I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, there's breadcrumbs throughout the film that this is all kind of like staged, if you will. Like unless we wanted to fall into enemy hands, kind of thing. And even O'Rourke's like, God damn it, I fucked up. But the idea, like, hey, let's leave this like technological advancement, like this tank here for the bad guys to take, just so we can get Bulletproof back for one mission.
Right.
I guess if like the ultimate goal is to take out William Smith's character, maybe it makes more sense.
Who didn't even get like a name.
No,
it was just the.
And just like they're in the desert and it's hot as fuck, and he's got his little goddamn like winter hat on.
Because how else would we know he was Russian if he didn't have that
right,
gimmick?
That's right. I get it. But
representing that, it was
gotta
like
have the
nations here. We had
gotta have the fuzzy hat and a red star. Got the helicopter, the voice, and the fuzzy hat with a red star. That's how you know.
So
I would have believed this movie more if instead of sending Bulletproof, they had sent Frank Dukes.
Maybe this was a Frank Dukes story and they just adapted it.
It's probably happened to him.
But yeah, we get McBain is trapped. We get the Cartier McBain face off where we get our third and maybe our final butthorn. I'll see as we go on. He also calls him Colonel Asshole, which is a nice one.
You respect the rank, though. I appreciate that.
McBain's contact is then killed, and then they turn their attention back to McBain. Let's see how bulletproof you are. And then Toyman, they find this giant spool that looked like it was like for the telephone. They use this for running all the telephone lines and south of the border. But this giant spool, this is the one thing that I don't think I would ever forget upon my first watch. I was like, what the hell is this whole gimmick?
It's almost like a prop that was intended for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they managed to get it onto the set of Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I thought it was
I made a table out of one of those once at an apartment I had. I put caster wheels on the bottom of it so it would roll around. It was a big table.
I think that 70s show had one of those as their coffee table in the basement as well.
I think they took this from like the elephant exhibit at the zoo.
Yeah.
The elephants like pushing around and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, elephants do shit. You're right.
They do lots of shit.
So he's tied up to this giant spool. They're gonna he's going to face a one-man Pantero firing squad. But Shepard's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! All right, I'll finally actually cooperate. You raped me, you killed people, but don't you dare harm McBain. So she's going to deactivate it. So she goes and deactivates the thing, but they still can't get it to work. Cartief goes in, and to your point, Chad, he's like, what a luxurious interior this tank has.
Beautiful, gorgeous, unbelievable.
And, uh, and O'Rourke at this point causes some sort of ruckus, which gives Shepard a chance to pick up a grenade that happens to be laying around. I think it fell.
It must have fell out of the popsicle
Yeah,
holder.
O'Rourke pushed the guy into the box. And the box,
right. That's right.
Yeah,
He did it, and it all worked out.
finally did something useful.
Yeah, so she grabs a grenade, unbeknownst to anyone, and she's like, all right, well, why doesn't this thing work? I went in there. It's nice. It's beautiful. It has rich Corinthian leather.
Yeah.
But the fucking thing don't turn on. She's like, well, you need the access code, dumb shit. So, but she's like, I'll give it to you, but let me talk to my boy McBain first. Fine. So she goes over to McBain and she lays one on him, and she's like,
Yeah,
hey,
buddy.
here's a plan. All right, like that, and then
Yeah.
then here is anybody in the physics profession.
Yeah.
Let me know if this is even possible.
I see a lot on the YouTube analytics that we do have a pretty good standing with the physics crowd.
Well, then good.
Big
We're going to
time,
have
big
some very interesting comments.
Yeah.
Brain, I would like to.
Has invaded higher education.
Yep. The MIT campus is just people walking around listening to the Bulletproof podcast. From what I
you
understand.
probably need to turn off your
Thanks,
brain
MIT.
after doing all that thinking.
Brain, I'd like to do a quick rebook if I could.
Please do.
So she's got the grenade.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just quickly a 30-second rebook. Instead of hiding it where she hid it, maybe she slides it into her bra.
Okay.
And when she's giving him the smooch, he grabs her breast
naturally
because that's
but
how
his hands are
pain,
tied up.
right? It wouldn't stop him. And he feels the grenade, and she just gives him the old nod, like, that's for you kind of situation.
Chad's dream of being a Skinamax director, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it.
That's some Tony Khan booking right there.
Make any sense. His hands are tied up.
Exactly.
He was on a fucking spool, dude. What are you?
Yeah, tied up to the spool.
Yeah, she just takes a half step to the right. His hand's right where her titty is. He grabs the titty. She leans in for a smooch. Boom. Mission successful.
So he's not spool proof.
He's not. No, he is not.
Well, anyway, what really happens is she drops the grenade next to the spool, which then propels this giant spool, which I gotta imagine is pretty fucking heavy. But this grenade...
It's also made of wood, which tends to, explode, break, and splinter before
it just would move.
Just decides to run away.
But it propels this giant spool. Does not do any harm to McBain, who is tied to said giant spool. And he just goes rolling. And it just picks up momentum. And, then you can understand you can't stop momentum. The baddies are pissed. But then they're like, who cares? He'll end up out in the middle of the desert. No one could survive that. Let's proceed with our plan.
If we're operating under the assumption that he does have some sort of juju on him where he can't be hurt or killed, then the movie becomes instantly more kind of funny like that because she can drop that grenade and do this whole bit because she knows that he'll not only survive whatever calamity is about to ensue, but he can also survive in the desert for days because he can't die.
He could have pulled some shrapnel out of his ass or something and be like, and then put it in his pocket. Yeah. Put it in his pocket for the jar.
Spit it at somebody.
I also wasn't in fear of him being hurt because the spool rolled away at a speed of maybe 1.5 miles per hour.
Whew.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of very fast action here. A lot of stuff was very deliberate. I think that the whole sequence where Bradley Cooper as Spaceman in the beginning of the A-Team movie rolling down the hill in the tires, did a better job for this
Oh, it
sequence.
surely did.
Which they also kind of lifted the whole "I'm gonna kiss you and pass you what you need" type deal,
Hmm.
because they did that in that movie when Jessica Biel kissed him to give him the key for the
You're
handcuffs.
right. They totally ripped off Bulletproof. Those
I
bastards.
think I think Jessica Biel might be like a top 10 for me.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
She's an underrated baddie. If we're gonna
Oh,
make like a top 10 list of like underrated.
right. She's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. She's
Lovely woman.
love indeed. I hope she's listening. Um. So yeah, they just let the thing roll. I mean, they had extra people. Like you couldn't send like two guys out there just to make sure. Just go shoot him now. No,
It's like the Empire on the escape pod.
you know,
There's no life forms in it. Let's just let
just
it
move
go.
on.
We're in the fucking Death Star. Let's just let it go.
So Carty radios the Russian major who doesn't have a name, but it's William Smith who we saw in the flashback earlier. And then Carty was like, "Ha ha! No one can stop us now," which is just wave the red flag that you're going to be stopped. And in fact, seconds later, there's a jeep blocking the road. McBain comes out of nowhere, rescues Shepard. There's a firefight. McBain and Shepard now get into the Thunderblast tank, where
Hell yeah.
they enjoy most of the rest of the film. Tartuffe manages to escape, of course.
Easiest shoot of Gary Busey's career.
Pure comfort.
Yep.
Yeah, Tartuffe runs away. What a horrible leader. And
Pussy.
and his soldiers are all
The chicken
dead.
shit heel. Come on, that's good booking. The chicken shit heel is afraid of McBain.
He is a chicken, but I'm saying, yeah, that's good as a heel, but as a freaking commanding officer, that's horrible. Horrible. But anyway, speaking of commanding officers, we go back to the village. There's General Brigado now. It's like, you know what? I'm tired of that church and those people inside it. Just burn it all to the ground.
We need some heat, literally.
So they start preparing to burn the church to the ground. We go back to the tank. McBain's getting patched up, and they get the Thunderblast moving, but they're not sure about the weapon system or how really to do all these things. They hit one button and like smoke appears. I don't know what that was. Then they find the coffee maker.
I loved Gary Busey's reaction to that. I think I texted you, Brain, that like I like to think that he had no idea that was going to happen on set, and that was his actual reaction when he pressed the button and a coffee maker popped out.
It was good. It had the coffee in it and ready to go and everything.
Yeah. How old was that coffee, you think?
Yeah.
And it's not like some sort of kit bashed like pipe coming out of something. It's
Yeah.
literally just like a Mr. Coffee shoved into a drawer.
Yeah.
On Spaceballs, you call that radar? No, sir. We call it Mr. Coffee.
So Tartuffe has now made it to the Russian major, who calls him pathetic because one man stopped his whole convoy. Now the troops at the village, they're pouring the gasoline, but there's a lookout, and he's like, "Oh shit, the Thunderblast is coming back this way." And here comes the Thunderblast.
Surely that's not an ominous sign.
No, not at all. And they're like, "Ah, hell with that Thunderblast," and they hit it with everything they've got, Chad Cruz. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's machine guns, there's rockets, there's RPGs, there's they're throwing sharp sticks at it and rocks and shit. Someone was hurling insults at it, I think.
Right.
And none of it worked. Nothing worked.
It may have smelled like smoke because it went through fire, but there's not a scratch on this thing.
No, didn't even spill their coffee in the inside.
Oh, it was perfect. A great suspension.
I did love too one little element about this portion of the movie that I thought was kind of cool was all of like the rockets and projectile weapons actually had physical things coming out of them, which I thought was really a nice little add. I mean, a lot of these movies like this, it's just cheaper to just have like a explosion come out of the tube or just like a spark and some smoke, and your brain just feels, oh, okay, the rocket came out really fast. But if you like watch, like there's literally projectiles flying out of all these tubes, and I thought that was really cool. So props to you, people on set firing legit things out of tubes.
Projectile weapon vomit.
That's right.
Oh yeah, we get a little O'Rourke versus Pantero action, which I mean everybody was waiting for this fight.
Oh yeah,
It was a dream match.
With an assist from the priest. Um, and
Because he
What's
literally just goes,
pacifism?
"Hey, look over there."
right, all you need, a temporary distraction sometimes is all
That's
you
right.
need. And O'Rourke takes advantage. We now get an interesting part because, like, okay, all right, maybe we weren't so excited, Chad Cruz, about O'Rourke versus Pantera, but what about the Thunderblast tank versus that cool ass Russian helicopter?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be a crazy battle between the two of these, right?
Well, we get a let's get the bastard in there, but it's not very long until we get
No.
not just a cool ass Russian helicopter, but we get an exploding helicopter. And
But
It's
I
kind of like
will.
is a Russian helicopter kind of like Chekhov's gun? Like if you introduce a Russian helicopter, it has to explode.
quite possibly, I'm
Yeah, very well could. I mean, how many of them have been shown on TV on screen in the last 50 years? I would
Well, we
say 90% of them have exploded
yeah, we
at
just
some point.
covered one recently in First Blood Part 2.
mm-hmm,
Oh my god.
That's right.
that's right.
It's probably the most famous exploding Russian helicopter in history.
I agree. So McBain is like, okay, we got to get these prisoners. But of course, the Russians are going to make that easy. We got some more. We got one more bastard in there. And then Shepard gets her comeuppance on Cartief because she just runs the fucker over. He just
Pretty
he
brutal.
deserved it.
I mean, he did, yeah, and it's definitely played to be a pretty gruesome way to go.
Mm-hmm.
He even like leaves his little arm sticking out the side. But
And
yeah,
I do like that aspect of it, that she's not just like the damsel in distress. You know, she's a soldier, she's fighting, like she's standing up to these guys. She's not just, beaten and broken and stuff like that. It's almost like a tag team effort here at the end.
no, she doesn't seem too affected by the sexual assault at all, really.
Well, you learn to
All it did was piss her
yeah,
off.
you learn
Yeah.
to just take that. I mean, look at Rambo would
Well,
eat things that would make a billy goat puke.
She
I like
probably
to think
assumed when she got captured, like, well, this is probably going to happen at some point.
And that,
I like
I've
to
seen
think
enough
that
movies.
once you've slept with Bulletproof, there's nothing that can really even touch the sides on that thing.
wow, touch the sides.
Yep.
All right, there's something about a hot dog in a hallway, but I'm gonna move on to. Oh yeah, we get the rush after she gets rid of Cartief. She goes, but then the Russian major, who has no name other than Russian major, gets a hold of her, which of course sets up the standoff between he and McBain. Remember me, just in case we forgot, because of all the fantastic things we've seen since. We get the quick dark alley flashback. And it's like,
Flashback to the flashbacks.
right, exactly. And then he's Russian major says, "All right, how about the girl for the machine?" And McBain's like, "There's only one problem. You lie." And then Chad Cruz, we got ourselves a dead Russian major.
That's the best kind, isn't it?
You're right. And then we got to go back home now, and we find out that there's just one guy at his little toll booth type thing who's the border guard for our country.
Border security, man. Fuck.
Well, you'll be happy to know they've invested much more in border security.
Now there's 50,000 guys there.
There's just some party dudes.
There's
first.
no more tanks coming up from Mexico, just driving across the border.
Party dudes first.
Putting Gomer Pyle into the FBI.
And then we got, they're like, yeah, we didn't bring it, hey, dude. And then, yeah, come on through. And then here comes Shepard in a Jeep, and right behind is McBain and the Thunderblast. And, I mean, obviously, even if that guy wanted to stop the Thunderblast, he wasn't going to be able to stop the Thunderblast. But there we go. It's over. The end credits. Toyman, your final thoughts on Bulletproof.
It's been a while since I've watched this one in full. I think I mentioned it was last week's podcast when we brought it up that I remember this movie being on all the time when I was a kid. Remember seeing it in the TV guide. It even inspired a short story that I wrote in third grade. So watching it in full, this was, I don't want to say it was a chore because I didn't hate it, but I felt like I got two different movies. I got that, that first 15 minutes, I thought we were going to get something along the lines of Lethal Weapon or maybe even something like a Red Heat, Raw Deal type of thing. And then we move on to all the military stuff, which just felt kind of I don't want to say lame, but it just felt like it dragged from time to time. And it was almost like there was no main thread for Gary Busey. It was like they just kind of took him from scene to scene. They had Darlene Flugel as Shepard, carrying a lot of the load. Chad, don't say anything dirty. Um, as far as being a prisoner and dealing with the Russians and the international creeps and whatnot. And then it was like, okay, we've got Busey here and he's doing a stakeout. Now we've got Busey here. We need him to get this tank, but now we've got Busey here and now he needs to save the girl. And it was almost just like follow the bouncing Busey. So I don't think it flowed very well. I think the action was somewhat lame. I think the opening sequence is probably the best sequence. The entire second half was kind of built on the tank. So I'll probably give this one a thumbs firmly in the middle. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, was able to pass the time with it, but I don't think it held up as much as some of my other nostalgic movies of the past do.
Ryan Campbell, your thoughts?
Yeah, similar thoughts to Toyman there. Tonally, it kind of didn't seem fully to know what it wanted to do. It definitely tries to ride as much on Gary Busey's kind of charisma and just him as a character as much as possible. The bad guys are kind of there again, like they're not like they're not like lame. I know we talk a lot on here about how the villains kind of make a movie. They're not terrible, but they're also not quite there yet to be really kind of legit threats. So again, yeah, firmly in the middle, not terrible. I had it on while I was doing some other stuff. So it was fine again to pass the time, like Toyman said. But yeah, struggled a little bit tonally, but also had some really good one-liners. Gary Busey kind of carries it, just being himself. And yeah, if I guess I just had to say anything, just a little bit tonally off.
Chad Cruz.
Well, I agree with most of what you guys have to say. I mean, I this is the first time watch for me. This escaped me throughout my childhood, but I had a lot of fun watching it. It reminded me of a fucking movie in 1987. Like it was perfect. The bad guys to me like make the movie a movie like this because McBain is so kind of one dimensional. Really, he's a badass who kicks ass essentially. There's not a lot there. So other than Gary Busey's charm, so you've got a lot of great cast to go along right around him. With William Smith and Silva and Jones and Armstrong and all these guys. And I feel like those guys are capable of basically taking over every scene that they're in. So they're in a lot of scenes in this movie. This movie doesn't feature Busey, like he's really not in it that much. So as a leading man, but I had a blast. I think it was fun. I'm not a big tank guy. I'm more of a shoot them up, chop them in the throat, rip out their fucking throat kind of guy.
Busey is. He got to spend the whole third act of the movie in that tank.
I know he loved it. He's like, God damn, best movie ever. But
If he was driving that tank instead of the motorcycle, we might have charismatic Gary Busey instead of psychotic Gary Busey.
Right. He could be Tom Cruise right now.
Well,
but yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I kind of brought this up at the tank, but this almost felt like another one of those movies where you almost had the workings of a live action G.I. Joe movie in there. Somewhere in there were elements where you could have easily, like, the Joe team is doing a mission with this tank, and the bad guys got it. And then Flint was off on another mission, and he finds out, what, Lady J's gotten captured? Well, hell, I got to go get her. Obviously you might have butthorn, but you wouldn't have nudity. You wouldn't have some of that stuff. But again, there's always they've so overcomplicated the G.I. Joe franchise when it really just needed to be something like this. I mean, yeah, you probably could have had 3 or 4 more characters with, where the O'Rourke and Shepard were, but you didn't need the bad guys were perfect with that whole colorful cast of characters. I mean, that was like Cobra.
Well, you have terrorists in Mexico. It's definitely Cobra.
Yeah, right. So, again, I enjoy it. Is it one of the best movies we've ever covered? No, but it's an enjoyable movie. And again, the perfect movie to talk about during Actionversary on the Bulletproof podcast. as we celebrate 11 years of bulletproof action with Bulletproof.
Brain, I want to add to your G.I. Joe thought there because let's go back now, talking about live action G.I. Joe and the nuggets that we're seeing in some of these films we're talking about. I have four words for you, and let's see what you think of it.
Okay.
Gary Busey as Chuckles.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he would have worked.
It's like him in Point Break, basically that character.
He would have worked. Yeah. There you go. All right, folks. That was our Bulletproof edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. Let's talk a quick minute about social media. Again, we talked about BJ's great comment. Maybe you could have comment of the year. Maybe you can unseat BJ with his comment of the year. You could do so on social media at Bulletproof Pod on X and Blue Sky at Bulletproof Action on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget, we also have the Facebook group where you can share what you're watching, what you've purchased, what you control the content there. You can get involved. You can join up on Facebook if you so desire.
You know what, Brain?
Yeah.
I'm so excited about our friend BJ and his comments
Yeah.
and following along and joining in with the conversation that we like to have. That I think that let's reach out to BJ and let's get some information and let's reward him with a Bulletproof Podcast T-shirt.
T-shirt. That's true. Chad Cruz has the prize closet over at his house.
And you know what? I think going forward, like, you know, let's blow this YouTube page up. Get on the YouTube page, watch some of the podcasts, listen to it, and as we find some of our favorite comments, the reward will be your very own Bulletproof Podcast T-shirt.
Whoa!
Yeah, look at Chad
Yes.
Cruz. See that the
Yes.
action.
Looking on the fly here.
And I'm going to send you the one I've been wearing for the
Oh
last 3 years.
no!
Actionversary
no.
clause over here.
I'm actually wearing one right now,
Oh,
if I'm being honest.
Very nice.
It's got stains all over it. It's disgusting.
Probably after watching that bathtub scene. Anyway, folks, social media. Next time, I don't want to jinx it, but I think we got our special guest lined up. But I do have a backup plan, as I often do, and I will say this: the backup plan is a movie that I mentioned earlier on this episode. So there's a little hint, but hopefully we'll have our special guest.
G.I. Joe the movie.
No, we're not. We did that already.
You mentioned a movie earlier?
I mentioned several. Thank you, Chad. Always helpful. Anything, Toyman, do you have anything before we go?
I have a lot. I have essential episodes of The Incredible Hulk, the original TV series, up at Bulletproof Action. I helped dust off Scene of the Week for Actionversary, which was a scene from the 2009 G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. So there is some Joe content on the site right now. And if you have spent your summer enjoying superheroes, Superman was out, Fantastic Four. We certainly talked about Superman on the podcast, and you could take a look at No Surrender Cinema, which covers the original feature film Fantastic Four, the one that even Stan Lee didn't want you to see, the one that never made it to theaters or video, yet somehow is widely available across the interwebs. So please check those out and then stay tuned for the end of Actionversary, where I'm planning on some PM content featuring the late, great Michael Madsen, a film that I have not seen yet called The Stray. So I will be watching it for the first time while reviewing it. So we're going to dive into this one together, folks.
Yeah, that's a PM one that I have not seen either, so I'm very interested in what you think about it, and I need to check that one out too. It's rare. There's not too much PM that I haven't seen, so it's always nice when you still find that there's one you can check out for the first time.
It's rare when there's one that you and I have not seen,
Right.
because at least there's usually kind of like that crossover where
Right.
I've seen it, you haven't, and vice versa.
Right.
So this is
like
definitely a rarity.
This is a movie unicorn here.
Mm-hmm. It is. Ryan Campbell, as you mentioned earlier, you got something special cooked up for the YouTube channel. Anything else?
I imagine it will probably. I again don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but it'll probably be up by the time this airs.
Oh, very good. Ryan Campbell,
So
he
go
put
check
some
it
work
out.
into this. He went on location and everything.
I did. I was on
You were-
location.
you were a
I've been in the editing bay. I've been in the voiceover booth.
You're putting a lot in.
It's something I'm setting myself up that if this becomes a recurring thing, it's going to be a shit ton of work. But it's been
you
fun.
know what
I'm
that
having-
means, folks. Click it as many times, watch it as many times.
Leave comments and get a t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt
Yeah.
from Chad
I'm gonna-
Cruz because he needs to clean out that prize closet. And
I'm gonna pay some girl in Bangladesh to click on it 150,000
oh
times.
yeah, Bangladesh indeed. All right, Chad Cruz, did you have anything else other than?
Nah.
No, you didn't have anything. Okay. Thank you so much. But yeah, again, check out bulletproofaction.com. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof